Hey, Ryan.
Hello, good
Thanks
to
for
see
coming
you.
over.
I am honored to be the second. Am I the second?
You are. You are.
I am lucky.
And I've just put people on the spot all the time. So, Ryan, you are our program director here. No, I'm sorry, program manager.
Yep.
And a big part of your job is coaching and case management with the
Yep.
guys.
Yep.
So, Ryan, tell people more about what you do, and then we'll talk about our program and the 8
Yeah.
S's.
So what I do, and I think I have probably the best job in the building, is I get to be part of a team of people that teaches and walks alongside and does some coaching for people who are staying in our mission. We call that the Life Path program. Um, Been here for about coming up on a year, and it is a great team of professionals, some with lived experience, some with just a passion and a heart for helping other people come together and address whatever the issues were that brought people through the front doors of medium barrier shelter like the Bread of Life mission. And that can be all sorts of things. That can be mental health. That can be drugs and alcohol. It can be drugs and alcohol mixed with mental health. And then there also can be things like financial hardship. We're seeing a lot of people outliving their retirement, finding themselves in positions that they've never been in before. We're seeing people come through the door because the cost of living has gotten high with hours being cut back. They've lost their apartments. There's a lot of different reasons why people come through the door, but usually there's a form of brokenness that needs to be addressed. And that's what we try to do, is address that brokenness. We try to address the brokenness by serving people's physical needs, providing food and shelter and safety. We try to address people's spiritual needs by providing hope. And we try to do that through sharing of the gospel, through God's love for us, through His Son, Jesus Christ. Our arms are very wide. We meet people where they're at. You don't have to believe to be part of the Life Path program. You just have to keep an open mind. And that's what we do. We try to address people's physical needs, their spiritual needs, and then we also try to address their emotional and mental health needs. A lot of us, in fact, dare I say, almost all of us at some point in our lives will need some kind of assistance. It's that most of us have a support network. In the case of many of our guests, and including myself, we've lived lives that at times we have burned up that social network, that social support network that other people have, that safety net. And so when people don't have that, they find themselves very quickly in places they never thought they would go. And so we try to get people the mental health help that they need. And so by addressing those three things, hopefully what happens in the Life Path program is, after a while, people start being restored, maybe even transformed, and find a different way of living than when they came in. And then the goal is, when they leave, they never come back. That they find a new way of living that never finds themselves in the same place of being homeless like they were before.
Right. We really believe that homelessness is not about a lack of housing.
Correct.
That's a piece of it. But really, homelessness is about a lack of relationships. You know, it's people in our lives that help us get through the day, or to move up into a different, like maybe that person who helped you get your first job or whatever. And
Yes.
if you don't have relationships for one reason or another, maybe your family has all passed, maybe it was a toxic family, abusive in some way or whatever. There's maybe you've gone through addiction or been incarcerated, and for one reason or another, you don't have those relationships anymore. You find
Amen.
yourself often on the street because it just takes one thing, and then you're out. And we see a lot of people like that. So part of what we do is, first of all, we're relationship for them. We walk alongside people in relationship and give them the resources, but also we want to give them opportunities to build a network, to build relationships somewhere else, so that when they leave here, they're in community somewhere. Often that's a church. It isn't always. It could be through a job, but that's you want relationships in many areas of your life. So we really try to help people by teaching them how to do that, and to have a network and a community who will support them once they leave here.
I couldn't have said that better, and I agree with you. We see people coming in with complex challenges in their life, but the one thing that we see is that when you are lacking in hope, when you cannot see a better way forward, is a very dark place that a lot of our guys have in common. And if we can somehow share that there is hope, that there are better days ahead, that while there's better days ahead, challenges will be happening, but you will be equipped with the tools to handle those challenges. And maybe most importantly, you will not go through them alone. You will go through them with a God who understands you,
Yep.
and with people who love and care about you.
Right.
And when people have that, they do things that they didn't think they could do. They find different ways of living that they weren't even aware of, or maybe never even got to experience in their childhood or early lives. And it's a great place to be able to do that.
It's really great to be able to see these guys come alive. They come in here with no hope, and then they might struggle for a little while, and they go to classes, and all of a sudden, like, there's a light that turns on in them.
Yeah.
And then you start to see that they have hope for themselves. And then they come and thank us for what we did. And it's like, we didn't do it, you did it. And God did it in them often. So, yeah.
Amen. And that's such a beautiful way to put it. And going back to what I said about, having the best job in the building is I get to do the same thing that other people did for me.
Yes.
I was that person who was without hope, that alcohol had robbed me of the ability to see that there was a God who loves me, that there was anything in my life that was worth living for, even though I did have a lot to be living for. I had also burned up many of the social safety nets that a lot of people had,
Yeah.
but it was people who refused to give up on me, who always were reaching out their hands. And
Yeah.
now I get to have that privilege to do the same thing, working for the Bread of Life that was done for me. And it is so cool to get to see people, like you said, come
Yeah.
alive in the same way that I got to come alive.
Yeah.
But it took people being willing to reach out their hands. And I was saved that way. And it's a great, great privilege to be able to do that in people's lives.
It takes a lot, doesn't it? It takes a long time for somebody. This is not like a 30-day program
No.
and you're out. And you're all fixed now.
That
Go have a good life.
That 28-day miracle is not true. It's a
Yeah.
lifelong choice. And the road to transformation is not done in 3 months. It's not done in 6 months. It's a long-term journey.
Right.
And the Bread of Life and all of the missions in the Citygate Network are committed to standing through people through the long term, because there are no quick fixes
Right.
to the suffering that a lot of us have put ourselves in.
Right. I want to talk about our Life Path program, but I think we'll talk about it more in depth later. But our program is structured around 8 S words. And so I'm going to cover them really quick. The first one is safe, and that's enhanced shelter. Can you explain that very briefly?
Well, with the time we have left, I think we're coming up on 1 minute here.
Yep, we're going to race through.
The big one is safe, and safe is addressing people's physical needs. It means exactly what it sounds like. You are indoors. You have a roof over your head. You are not freezing on the streets.
Right.
You are safe. You are literally safe. Your stuff is not getting stolen. You
Right.
have a place to lay your head. You have good food 3 times a day.
Yeah.
You have the beginning of what is community that doesn't exist on the
Right.
streets. It is addressing the physical needs of the person. Get them
Right.
in and get them safe.
So when somebody comes into our shelter in the enhanced, the safe step, it is enhanced shelter, and that means that we're going to help them to feel safe. We're going to help them find a doctor and get some health care, and we're going to assess them to see, are we the best people to help them?
Correct.
And if they have like really high level of mental illness or some other issue, maybe they can't do the stairs because we don't have an elevator, we'll help them find someplace else to go. We aren't just going to kick them out.
Yep.
And then we'll, if they go into our program, they go into the next step, which is sober.
Yep.
And so we're building out more of an addiction program, and that will run with them through really the rest of their life. And then there's stable, which is mental and emotional stability. We're going to talk more about that later on. But then the next is schooled and skilled.
Yep.
And we want to have partners in the area that will help us, whether somebody needs a GED or a couple of college classes, or they need training in a job, and we don't want to just get them to go out and get a job. We want a living wage job, so
Yes.
they need training in that. And then after that comes secure. We have a lot of guys in our building who have jobs right now, right?
Yes, we
They're
do.
in the secure step, and they're saving money. We're making sure they're saving money.
Yep.
They're learning how to budget. They're learning, how to be a good tenant, right?
How to, if you have an eviction, what is your responsibility to cleaning up that mess?
Right.
How do you move forward?
Right.
There are a lot of things that come with it during that time period.
Right.
So that, again, when people leave, they're there in their forever
Right.
home and never come back to this type of situation.
Right. And then the next step is settled. We help people find housing.
Yep.
How many people moved out last week into their own apartments?
Last week, we had 3 gentlemen move into their own apartments. And while we're thanking our sponsors, which we don't exist without, one of the hidden gems in the city of Seattle is the partnership with Zillow called Housing Connector.
Yep.
It was one of the keys that got all 3 of those gentlemen housed, and it is a great program.
It is.
And what's great about it is it asks the client, the guest, to be part of the journey, and it goes ahead of them and works with the landlord.
Right.
So it is the perfect thing. It has been one of the few things we've seen that work.
Right.
And 3 people
That's
hopefully
awesome.
will never come back to this, but will go forward and then come back in the last S, which is serving.
Yep.
And that's what we hope. We hope that our guests who've received start giving back, because we know
Right.
that when we give back, we often get more in return.
Exactly. And that might be that they volunteer here, somewhere else in the city, or maybe they're in a church community and they're volunteering there. But we know that people who are serving, that means that they're not looking at their emergencies anymore. They're looking up and out, and they're helping others. And that's a sign of good health. So that we just work people through that path. And some people might come in safe, and we can't help them, so we find a place for them to be settled elsewhere. But some of them work through all of these steps.
And I think of all the things that make me proud about being here at the Bread of Life is that when somebody isn't a fit for our program, that we work hard to find a place for them.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen everywhere. And I think that responsibility, that we are not only good for our Pioneer Square neighbors, but for
Yeah.
the city of Seattle, that we take this responsibility of being in people's lives very seriously. And that if you are not a great fit for us, or you have challenges, or your health doesn't allow you to be in this building, we work hard to find
Right.
you another place. And that is something that I'm really proud about.
Yeah, I am too. I'm really proud of our team.
Yes. Good
Um,
people.
Ryan, we'll probably talk later, but you're also going to be bringing some other people over later
Yep.
to talk with me, some
Yeah.
of the guys in the program. So thank you.
Thank you for this time,
Thanks for
Kim.
all your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay.